Hey fam, Kคนcr Nick here, and thank you for joining me for another live stream. And this is the closest to on time I have ever gone live. So if you're there, give me a hey. I'm guessing hopefully Ethan is here. I don't know who else is here. Hey, Ethan is here. All right, good job. Thanks, buddy. So I've had a bit of a issue with God of War 3, but that's all right. For some reason it didn't transfer it over when I just asked it to copy and paste it over, but I did want to show you some of the ones that I had been working on. So Skate 3, it's rather frustrating. It just crashes it. One thing to remember about RPCSX is that it's version 0.53, I believe, is the current version, and it's not until version 1 of software that they consider that it to be, fully developed, ready to go for the public. In the old school days, version 1 was everything was perfect. Obviously, today we live in the world where iteration is king, so that's not always the case. But for Skate 3, again, it just crashes. The only thing I can think of is maybe trying to change the drivers to see if that helps. So we can give that a try. Let's go with default first, see what we get with default. Stranger things have happened. Okay, file or folder. I don't know why it would be invalid. If you can pull that, you should be able to pull it. But, all right. So that's interesting. Like I say, I'm not sure why. I'm not 100% expert on this. So we'll go back to 26R2V1 as our driver. And I know you'd ask for Killzone 3 as well, Ethan. So I wanted to kind of show you what I'm getting with Killzone. And then, so I have to try to figure out how to overcome this part of it as well. But let's get this one. Let's maybe make it private. Anyone else there right now? It looks like there's 2 people, but I don't know who the other person is. But in case I forgot, again, I can't remember if I forgot or not just now, so forgive me. But hey fam, Kคนcr Nick here. And so I can get to this part. That looks good. Let me see if I can't shrink that down. Maybe get this one a little bit darker. Okay. Progress there. There we go. So it all looks like it's going to do great. Okay, I think I can start to see if I can see before. Just barely. Okay, so that's what it's asking for. So then it asks for a controller, and I get that, and then I get this trophy error. See if I can't. Sorry about the smudges. See if I can't use my Thor storage pouch. Can we make that blue? I have no idea. Since I'm not using my phone's camera software, I have to use the Droid camera software. But I think you can kind of read that. A trophy error occurred, error, and then some numbers. The only thing I can do is push the A button, which would be like the circle button on the PlayStation, to make any sound. But nothing else makes a sound. It's not frozen. It can still do things. I just don't know how to circumvent that. Okay, now it shows 3 people there. I don't know if that's, again, accurate or not, but if you are, I'd appreciate a good morning or good evening here while we get this live stream up and running. Remember, this is about you. So while we get this live stream up and running, I'd appreciate at least a hi. After all, these live streams are all about you guys, not me. So just to show you what I'm going to be drinking tonight, Pepsi Clear, because Pepsi Thailand brought that back. So I decided to go with the clear tonight. It is 7:06 Thailand time. What time is it wherever you guys are? Okay, so now it looks like it finally froze, so we'll just exit out of that. So that's kind of the hit or miss part about RPCSX3 because it is kind of hit or miss. I've always been an American college football fan, so I can get this up and running. The audio crackles a bit, so it's not perfect. Obviously not as good as it is on my PlayStation 3 that's in my bedroom next to my PS5, but it is definitely playable. Turn it down in case the audio is noticeable. Okay, go back here so you can kind of see where we're sitting. Now, I have seen the RAM occasionally spike up to above like 8.5, almost 9 GB of RAM. So definitely if you want to try to play PS3 now or in the future, I would recommend at least the Pro model. As you can see, the 8 is halfway because again, I had to have the Max model with 16 GB of RAM because I prefer the extra bandwidth and also because I prefer to be able to store games like Genshin Impact on my device, which are rather large files. Let's be honest, they're just as big as a PlayStation 5 game. But yeah, so you can see I can go in and play it just fine. We can even have a Dynasty on here. So all that's good and great. It just depends on the game with RPCSX. And sometimes it depends on the drivers that you're using. Oops, I thought I meant force close that. Okay, beautiful. So you can see I do have a number of them on here. I believe I took off slide to be able to try to add Ethan's games. What else did I remove? Can't remember if I opened Red Dead yet. So you can kind of see this whole process. Feel free to ask me any questions as you guys go. Love to answer any questions, whether it's about the device, about my channel, anything, of course. And one thing I learned a long time ago is never say you know something when you don't know it. So if I don't know it, I'm just going to tell you I don't know it, but I'll get you the answer and I'll let you know during my review tomorrow. I should be able to figure that out by tomorrow. Yeah, so you can see sometimes when you're loading a PS3 game for the first time, it can take a little bit of time. And that's even with this being a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So you can imagine how much longer it took with, for example, the Retroid Pocket 5 with Snapdragon 865 was even slower. One time on that device, it took like 2 hours to load a game. Great question, Ethan. So, I mean, I think they're both exciting devices for different reasons, obviously. But at the same time, I'm kind of disappointed, in both, but not. So the reason being, of course, is I expected it would be the same screen from the RG40. What was it? I think I have it in my backlog here. Let's see. Yeah, when they announced it for $100, I figured it was going to match this backlog item, the RG40XXV screen, which it did. So it doesn't surprise me, just touch screens. And then, of course, the chip. Some people are disappointed in the chip, but the thing about, for example, the T8 or the T620, for example, I checked into it. It doesn't natively support dual screens. So you need a bridge, so that'd be extra hardware, extra cost. And since they're trying to keep it under $100, it made sense to pick a SoC, a system on a chip, that would support dual screens natively, cut down on extra costs of needing a bridge for the second screen connectivity. So to me, it makes sense. Again, it can handle a lot of DS games. They showed in their video, it can chug along on some very basic 3DS games, but because again, they're going with the screen on this, that's a 4:3 aspect ratio screen. It makes sense that what they're trying to do is go for the DS market, and in the future they'll go for the 3DS market if this unit sells. So hopefully this unit sells, because again, that will encourage them to go with the 3DS model that's more powerful. For example, maybe then they'd be willing to spend the extra money for the bridge and a better SoC for the 3DS version. 3 gigabytes of RAM, it depends on how they configure their RAM. For example, the AYANEO Pocket Air Mini utilizes a style of RAM that almost makes it act like dual channel memory. So their 2 and 3 gigabytes of RAM in the system acts like 2 or 4 gigabytes of RAM. So if that's what they're doing, that would be great. They haven't indicated that's what they're doing though. So I don't know if that's what they're doing, or if it's going to be Android on 3 gigabytes of RAM. So it's a great question about what that's going to be looking like. But again, the RAM is more or less for the OS. The emulators can run on much lower RAM. The games can as well. The biggest bottleneck is going to be the SoC at the end of the day. But again, it's aimed at DS market. It's not aimed at the 3DS market. And Super Nintendo and PS1 and all of those, if you look at the specs, even for the PS1, look at the RAM. It doesn't come anywhere near 1 gig of RAM. So the RAM isn't overall an issue. Sure, you can get more out of it if it is that kind of dual channel system memory that AYANEO is using, because in essence you're doubling the RAM that's available to the device. So I'm excited for it. I pre-ordered it as soon as I could. I wish that they would have done the clear. I was really excited for the clear, but I pre-ordered the turquoise because at the end of the day, my channel, I want these to stand out and be unique. For you guys, I've never done a turquoise device on my channel, so I wanted to choose the turquoise. And I thought, while black is my favorite color, red is my favorite color, so of course I was excited about the red black, but I thought it might look a little bland on camera, so I chose the turquoise. And the white also looks fine. I just want a little bit more pop, so that's why I went with the turquoise. Should be a lot of fun. Is it going to be as fun as this? I don't know how good their software is. That's one thing, and I'll be 100% frank. I've already started to play with next week's device, and this is very different than this. This is dual screen at its core, kind of like my old Microsoft Surface Duo 2 was. But the AYANEO, while you're displaying 2 screens at once, is really aimed at single screen, because the OS natively puts the equivalent of the Thor command center, the TCC. They natively put that on the screen, and unless you're launching a 3DS or a DS game, that screen stays just basically on the Thor command center, which is fine. I mean, you can also see a wallpaper, I suppose, but you can't natively just be able to say, I want to open a Super Nintendo game here and a walkthrough because I don't know how to finish this RPG that's from the SNES era, so, or PS1 era, what have you. So this is much more geared towards dual screen all day, every day. And even though this is more expensive, this is not. So I'll be interested to see, because again, there are limitations with RAM. With 3, are they going to be more like the AYANEO, where it's primarily focused at a single screen experience unless you happen to launch a DS game? Or is it going to be like this, that's natively a dual screen all day, every day, as far as you can use? Hola, proud European votes. Hey, brain beat. So, welcome guys. So that's my thoughts on the RGDS. Feel free to comment your thoughts as well, of course. And then as far as the RP6, I liked the original look of the new RP6. Yes, it seemed a bit weird with the big rectangular buttons. I get what people were thinking of in that regard, but it was different. It was making it look more unique than the RP5. And if I wanted the RP5 clone, then I would get the RPG2. The whole reason I pre-ordered it, one, of course, is that it's a newer device, but two, that it looked different. I don't want it to be a clone of my RP5. Sadly, you know, a lot of people weren't happy with big, large rectangular buttons, which to me also meant more room for ergonomic bumps to hold onto the device. Because without a grip, the RP5 is uncomfortable to hold, unless you have small hands. I don't know, medium-sized hands, and it was okay to use without a case, but it wasn't that comfortable for long play sessions, whereas once you get the grip case like this one, then it feels more comfortable. So I was excited about that extra little bit of vertical length there to give a little bit more room for the fingers. But then, like I said, people spoke up and said, oh no, how could you do this? How are you changing it? Well, it's a different generation. That's why they were doing it, obviously. And so I thought that was cool. But then when the minority spoke up, they listened to the new people that I don't think are native Retroid fans, which of course there's nothing wrong with them trying to get new fans, but AYN and other companies have been doing these split sticks rather than parallel sticks or offset sticks, however you want to say it, for a while. So you have your option of split stick slash offset sticks. But I'm a PlayStation guy, so I actually liked, that was one of my favorite things about the RP5 was having a larger 5.5-inch screen with the parallel sticks. I'm probably in the minority, but that's the great thing about this industry is we have great variety today. So I was like, well, okay. So I like that they at least tried making them happy by going back to the RP5 style. Okay, I get trying to make as many people possible as happy. And they knew that there were people like me that liked the parallel sticks. So they said, look, you know, if you're an offset stick guy, we'll give you that option. If you're a parallel stick guy like me, then we'll give you that option as well. So I appreciate that we still get that, we get a similar design, but at least a choice of a parallel stick configuration or an offset stick. I'd love to hear you guys' opinion as well. Are you like me that you actually like your parallel sticks, or are you more the offset sticks? For me, again, I've always had a PlayStation. I've never owned an Xbox, other than I have a gamer tag because I had Windows Phone 7 and Windows 10 mobile phones, so that had Xbox built into it. So I have an Xbox gamer tag, but I've never used it on a console. I've only used it on those phones that I used years ago. So I still like parallel sticks. I still play my PlayStation 5, and when I get a chance, my PS3 as well. Yeah, I hear you. California raisins. But again, that's why I love this industry is we have options. It's not that we don't have options. So me, parallel stick, definitely. Yeah, yeah, Brainbeat. So you've had all three basically. So what's your preference though? If you were to buy a third-party controller, would you be that was the same, but you had the choice of parallel sticks or offset sticks? Which would you pick? Say it was kind of an in-between Xbox and PlayStation, uh, structure to the controller. Would you prefer the Xbox layout? Yeah. Okay. I mean, again, that's everybody has their preference. I mean, I just like having my sticks up here and your sticks down here and having my fingers up here. To me, feels perfectly natural. But that's because I've owned every PlayStation that has existed in North America and one that didn't. I have two Vitas, a launch edition Vita from Canada, and I have an imported third version of iteration. There we go, of the Vita from Japan. That was a Japan exclusive, along with I've had all of those. So yeah. So yeah, so I've always loved my parallel sticks, but that's me. But I'm glad that they at least kept that option. If they had just gone back to the RP5 design and then gone to the offset sticks, I would not have been happy. and I would have ordered the G2 instead. But alas, I have not ordered the G2 because they at least gave me the option, and I pre-ordered the RP6 with the parallel stick configuration. So that's my thoughts on it. So we did have a couple Android game requests. We had Zenless Zone Zero requested and Genshin Impact requested. So we'll put it into 120 mode. And let's change it back down here. I think medium is where I get the best performance to wattage experience. Have any of you played Zenless Zone Zero? And I hear your point of view. To me, I love having parallel sticks. To me, it just feels natural because I've always done it that way and always had sticks up top. But, you know, I don't mind either way. I tend to, even on modern games, stick my fingers up here, even if it's offset. Like these are offset, I still tend to put my finger up here just because I'm more used to and control Mario and Super Nintendo, Super Mario World with my analog stick. Leaving this up here so you can see the frames per second we're getting, and I have everything maxed out as far as that goes. Now, if you're not familiar, of course, we do have a key mapper. So with key mapper, you can do the easiest way, of course, is if you have the analog stick touch the screen area, just depending on what stick you want, you can see it adjusts. I can get it to focus, which is a big question. This will be the left stick. This is the right stick because it's leaning to the right. So you would just grab it and drag it down and put it where it needs to go. And then whenever you use your stick, that's what it's going to recognize. Okay, and then you also have this where you drag it down to where you want to press it, and then you press the button you want to press. There you go. You can see that became L1. But if you're done with it, then you just swipe it away. I'm done. So now I can move around. So I tried the controls and it kind of froze up on me. There is a configuration for using a controller, but I'm finding this to be pretty good. I'm just trying to figure out how I need to exit. But like I say, I do have all of the graphics maxed out on this. Okay, maybe I need to do it. Okay. Okay, next. Yeah, let's just try casual, just because this is only my second time playing it. Let's try old Billy here. Oh, no, okay, never mind. We'll deploy. It didn't by default. Whenever I first launched it, it came with touch enabled, and I tried turning on the controller, and like I said, it kind of froze up. Well, here, just we'll set that down for a moment. I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. We'll just scoot this over for a second. PlayStation 4 controller, PS5 30th anniversary controller, and the kind of pro style controller, all with the parallel sticks. And the other thing too is whenever I was setting it up, it only gave 2 options for button mapping, whereas with this I can choose where I want each button to be. So I actually kind of like this better. Okay. This guy works. They are in an arc. I don't understand what you mean. Let's just grab this guy. Parallel. If they were offset, the analog stick would be here, the D-pad would be up here, down here. But I mean, they are parallel to each other. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not offset with the analog stick up here and a D-pad down here. So for me, I would still rather even the Thor have the analog stick down here, but that's my preference. But like I say, that's why I love this industry though, because we have great selectionists, especially today. A few years ago, not so much, but today, with Anbernic, with AYN, with Retroid, AYANEO, and even whenever they decide to finally release another one, we have Pal Kitty, and we have Pelagali, we have Magic X. I just got a new Miu. I got the Miu Mini Flip. I have also waiting to be unboxed by Mongmi Air X. So I love that we have options. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we have those options. Brain. That's what the big thing I'm saying is I'm glad we have options today. But for me, I play PlayStation exclusively. So for me, it just feels natural to have even modern games like PlayStation 5 having my sticks parallel. I will never, yeah, I will never begrudge anyone for having their own opinion. As long as we can be able to respectfully disagree with one another, that's all that matters. We don't have to be at each other's throats because we disagree with how to play games. It's just be whatever makes you happy. Oh, jump into the. So you can see, I mean, it handles the frame rate pretty well on this. I believe it's only a 30 frames per second game and a 30 FPS game. So if I set it down to 60, it'll probably drop down to 30, but let's just double check. Stick on 60, but maybe it just cuts in. Let's see. Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you guys at least have good variety of games to play between the two of you. This is a very text-heavy game. Okay, so it is holding at 60. Okay. Let's get that. Oh, more action. Come on. There we go. I mean, the graphics look really great in this game. Yeah, I saw that mod. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna end the game here. Hopefully it's saved where it is. Let's go to Genshin since somebody else wanted to see Genshin. Yeah, I had a SNES Classic, and I had a guy that was willing to trade me straight up for the PS Vita Japanese version. So I traded him straight up for it. I think it's this way. Let's see. All right, welcome, Phoenix. Yeah, it was running smoothly, 60 frames per second in 60 FPS mode. I think it's just the art style that was making it look choppy, or my camera having trouble trying to figure out what to do. But definitely want to thank anyone that's watching this, whether it's Ice Cream Buds if you're still there, and Brainbeat and Ethan and anyone else that might be watching. Thank you for your support. I mean, my channel has grown crazy because of this device more than anything. Went from 250 last Wednesday to almost 2,000 right now. So thank you guys for all of your support. Okay, so I've done the same thing with the screen mapping. Now I'm on medium performance. I can always change it up to high performance to get a little more juice out of it. Oops. Suspension running at 42, 41 frames per second in that area with everything loaded out. Oh, reconnecting the server. Come back. Don't go. Oh. Let's check out the water. But again, similar art style. Similarly looks really great. You say you're not going to get a full 60, even in high performance mode. Maybe if I turned on the fan on high rather than smart mode, but with the key mapper, makes it easy to play. Very quite accurate. So yeah, you occasionally still have to touch the screen like to pick up things like vegetables and mint, things on the ground, but if you've never played Genshin, it's a very pretty game, just like Zenless is as well. Obviously, this is more like prehistoric kind of early vibe kind of stuff versus more modern of Zenless, but both look pretty good. Zenless stuck around 60 in 60 mode, whereas this kind of sticks around 35 to 45. So this one fluctuates a bit more even in high performance mode. So I'll leave it at that. There's that. All right. So Brainbeat, I double checked, and there were no Gran Turismo or God of Wars that were native to the Vita. They were just remakes. The handheld that received either one of those was the PSP. I can go back and check the settings for you. Sure. I don't mind. Just give it a second. I know, Ethan. It's really awesome to have grown so much so quickly. Someone else had asked to try a PC game, but the problem is I don't have a lot of PC games. I've never really been into PC gaming, so alas, I don't have access to a lot of PC games. But let's jump back here and let it load up. Wearing headphones may improve your gaming experience. All right. So, the settings. Oh, I forget how to do this. It's been a while since I've actually dug into Genshin. Good old peanut, you know? Can't tell, that's me. When I was little, I had white blonde hair. Yeah, the Thor is about $300 for the Pro model. Well, no, the Pro model I guess is about what, 350, and the RP6 is like 280, so $70 difference. This is infinitely more pocketable, which is something that you like, Brainbeat. So that's something to think about, because this fits in pockets. RP5, unless you've got really big pockets and really loose pants, the RP6 is not going to be pocketable. Which is why Mrs. Peanick, Joe, she her favorite handheld to date is this. She's like, I can just throw that in my purse and not worry about it, especially with the Thor bag. But you know, you can also use the Thor cases and whatnot. But she really likes this device. I forget how to adjust the settings for the quality. It's not it, is it? No, it's the quality maybe. Hmm. Yeah. Oh wait, maybe. Not profile. Maybe profile. It's not profile scale. I can't remember how to adjust the settings. Do you remember how to adjust the settings? Here, maybe. I have no idea. Let's say I have to back out. Let's just try backing out. Yeah, that's fair. Anything smaller than the Steam Deck is a plus. Maybe here. That just notes. Event, Wonderland. No, I don't want to switch account. I have no idea. Sorry, I can't figure out how to remember how to do it. If somebody comments in the comments how to do it, I'll go back to it. So there's that. So as I mentioned, that one thing I love about this over this at this point, after having a little bit of time with it, is this I can always use two screens anytime I want, whereas the AYANEO really doesn't want to do dual screens unless you're using something like Azahar Dual Screen Edition, for example, or Melon DS Dual Screen Edition. Then it'll launch in both screens, but just natively, like this, I can load any app here and any app here. It's not that way on the AYANEO, at least as of today. And with the Thor Command Center, I can go in and change the brightness on an individual screen or change the volume per screen. Whereas on the AYANEO, at least as of today, you cannot do that. So for me, actually, for a pure gaming device, I'm actually enjoying this better. So let's see. All right, let's give God of War PSP a little boost here, and I have it 4x. Let's see if I can't bring it up. There we go. All right, settings. So I have it set to back end. I can get it to focus. Not the best, but Vulkan, 4x resolution. Display at 1080p. I have anti-aliasing at 4x. VSync full screen. As we grew up, as I would have said growing up, the whole kit and caboodle. Enabled. Lens flare. You can turn that on to set it to auto. Okay. All right, so let's continue. Let's save. Okay. Let me see. I can't remember if I can turn on tools. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it'll show it natively itself. Show it, yes, there we go. Oops. Okay. There we go. See it up here. Here, let me just try. See what I can do to make this look better. Maybe a little bit darker. That's getting washed out. Let's try it there. I like holding this better than the RP5, honestly. With or without a case. Because it's a taller device. I like having the extra width of my palm space. Stay down. I mean, for a PSP game being upscaled, it looks pretty darn good, at least in my opinion. I mean, what was the native resolution of the PSP? It wasn't that high. There's my old buddy that I already tried killing. You're gonna follow me, aren't you? All right, no worries. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. Anyone else that's still on? Speak now if you have any consoles or specific games you want played, and if I have it on my device, I'll be happy to give them a try. Remember the secret machine, just you know, that company begins with N. They're very guarded about things that they own their IP. So any games that they own the name to, I cannot play those because they will probably find out, even though I'm only at about 2,000 subs, and they probably won't be happy with me. So, and they don't give people warnings from what I've read. They just come and attack regardless of how big the channel is. Simpsons hit and run. All right. All right. I think I do got that if I remember correctly. Actually, go down, but such a I guess that's probably true. So it's reaching over there. Thank you. Let me get to a save point here. I might need to bring them along yesterday. Can I actually bring this guy? Yes, I can. Okay. And you know what? I'll just let it go. All right. So we want to go back to ESDE. Give it a second. You know, considering I have about 40,000 games on here, it does take a bit longer. So, word to the wise, when you're creating your own collection, you probably don't need 40,000 games. But I do have a 1 terabyte drive on here, or a micro SD card, so that thing is almost full. I only have about 20 or 30 gigabytes left of space. And then, of course, I have the 1 terabyte internal storage, but I'm using that for like Genshin and things of that nature. And if I do have a Steam account, so if I use like Game Native, for example, it'll store the games on the actual internal storage. But ESDE likes to take its time whenever you have 40,000 games. So maybe you don't need 40,000 games. Okay, almost there, making good progress. There we go. So you can see I changed my look and feel. Hey, look, PSP, there's old Kratos himself. Let's see here. I think we have it. Let's see here. Did I put it on? I thought I did. Could have sworn I put it on here. But Nether doesn't think so, neither does ESDE. Maybe I put it on. Dreamcast. And I need to create folders for like Senmu and stuff, so the different discs show up as one. No? Okay, back. Trying to remember. Must have, because I could have sworn I saw it being scraped. I don't think it was Jaguar. Could be wrong. That's right. Doesn't seem on Jaguar. Can't remember every console that The Simpsons came out on, but I could have sworn I saw it whenever I looked over and I saw it scraping the games. That was very confusing. Wish there was a search button. Unless it's under The Simpsons. Let's see. Could be because there's the there. Let's try. Nope, not that one. What about? Okay. Nope. Well, I'm glad you're still here. Good to see you're still here. Do you have a game you want to see played? Or a console you want to see played? Sorry, Ethan, I could have sworn that I saw it being scraped. Or else I would have double checked. But I could have sworn I looked over while it was scraping. And in case you're not aware, scraping is, of course, just has this games list natively, and then scraping pulls in the synopsis of the game, what was it rated, release dates, and all that information, box art, and a video of the game itself. Doesn't have to pull all of that, but I do ask it to pull all of that. PS2 MGS2 widescreen patch is active. Looks like Joe and Dominic might be going to bed. See if I can't grab that guy and then grab my phone real quick. Hey, Dominic. You want to come on camera? All right, right. Let's come over here. Come here, Bubby. Whoop. There. It's kind of sideways. There we go. Hey, Dominic. How you doing, buddy? He is 21 months old now. Oh, he's trying to climb on me. Sorry, guys. Hold on. All right. I guess I'll make my first appearance on camera too. Scare y'all. Oh, how about this one? Nope, we're upside down. Let's not fix it. You see yourself? Yeah. Mama, where'd you go? Okay, you have to. Go, Bubby. Go back to home. So, let me just. Oh yeah. So I have a two-screen laptop, and then I have a 34-inch monitor that I use for streams and work-related stuff to keep myself busy. All right, let's get you back up here. Okay. He is definitely a cutie pie. He definitely gets that from his mama. You couldn't tell by the first glimpse of me on camera. That's why I don't go on camera. Don't want to break your computer screens or your phone screens. So I'll get to Contra. I believe I have the entire Game Boy Color catalog on my phone or on my Thor. So now they have a lot more lights on here, so it's a lot harder to see things. Let me try turning it up to compensate. That's too bright. Hopefully they turn off that screen. And then, of course, my fingers smudging up the screen. It was free of smudges. Of course, it wants to focus whenever it can see its own face. Thank you, phone. Good old Vivo X Fold 3 Pro. Also the same one I do my reviews on. So it has a good 4K screen. I think the widescreen patch looks pretty good. Hideo Kojima is such a great storyteller, but man, he loves his dialogue sequences. And, you know, I appreciate it if you're getting into the game for the first time, like whenever I did, what, back in 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. Such a jump up from PS1 video quality. And that's the thing, so many people are expecting, for example, when PS5 came out, that you'd have that same generational leap from PS4. It just wasn't possible. Not in a home console, at least. Okay, I'm gonna look down to try to play for a minute. Yeah. Nope, it's not going anywhere then. Ah. Hey. Ooh, man. Push to top. So as you can see, PS2, MGS2, no issues. All right, so let's go back over to ESDE. Exit out of that. Onboard color and Contra. No Contra. Yeah, I wish this is my one gripe. I wish that I had like a search. I have Conker's Pocket Tail. We'll do Contra Advance. How's that? And then you'll see the virtual, so we'll get rid of the virtual there. Yep, trying to go back. Oops. Of course. The dog's the one that did me then. I usually don't have the patience for Contra because I am a run-and gunner, but hey, we will keep going. Try it one more time. Guess I have to just jump over that dog. Ah. I'm horrible at this game. Yeah, it can do everything that you could imagine or try to throw at it. Actually, let's go over here. I can't remember if it's in other settings or if it's in utilities, but let's see here. You can force games to emulate at 60. Maybe input effects. There we go. Enable it. No, I don't want to enable it. There we go. GameCube. I never owned a GameCube, but some of my friends did. Let's see here. Let's just try. Trying to remember which standalone emulator. Is it Sumo? I think it's Sumo. No. Is it Sumo? It's been a while since I played GameCube. No, but we can play something that is not Nintendo IP. So this is that secret console. A console that shall not be named. Final Fantasy VII, the Zodiac Age. Better turn down that volume in case that's some copyrighted music. Let me see here. Controls. Overlay options. Get rid of it. There we go. Okay, that's better. Okay. Start a new game. Let's see. I don't know if you can see it because it's awfully small there, but it's accurate there as well. So it's just my phone doesn't want to focus. There we go. Do you say Square Enix or Annex? Enix or Annex? Let me try changing the brightness now that they've left a bit. That'll look a little bit better, easier to see. For that secret console, not too bad. 40, 45 frames per second on these cutscenes. No audio crackle. So if you want to be able to play the secret console, here you go. You can see, I don't know if you can still hear it, but as far as audio, sounds really good. Video looks really good as well. Just can't skip this darned cutscene. I mean, if you think about it, it wasn't long ago that a CGI movie that was produced by Disney or somebody else could not look this good. So I have to give them, Secret Console may not be as powerful as PS5 or Xbox, but they do know how to optimize for their, companies do know how to optimize for their hardware and make some really good looking games. I can promise it looks better on my screen too. It's just, of course, my phone having trouble. I might be able to make it look a little bit better. Let's try. That might be a little bit better. Still looks better on my screen, but this is where you can tell how good an OLED is versus an LCD. An LCD would always be showing gray here where the text, the subtitles were, but with OLED, even on the camera, it's just black. And that's because with OLED, if it's black, it's black. It just turns off the pixel, and the pixel is natively black. So it just, or the area around the pixel is natively black. So blacks just pop, or in this case, disappear. You can't see them. It looks like it's part of the bezel. And whenever text shows up, then you can see it. That's why I like say this is nice versus this, because the bottom screen on this is an LCD. Only the top screen is OLED on this, versus both screens on this are OLED. This is still a great device, and I'm still going to be enjoying playing with it for the next 2 weeks. But there's a lot to like about this device for a lot cheaper too. Come on, let's get to an actual gameplay. Let me just skip. Why do I need to know everything? Can I skip? Yes. Skip, please. Skip. Try using. Math's having a bit more trouble, I imagine, because I've never played this on the secret console, but that's okay. Audio hasn't been stuttering. I don't know if you can hear it, but audio sounds really good. Music and everything sounds good. If I know what I'm doing, that would help. But so there's the Final Fantasy VII on the secret console. Looks good. Let's, let's get out of there. Let's go Azahar. Okay, and then I believe yes. Yeah. Yeah. Is this the unit of Azahar, or is this the middle ones? All right. Okay. Well, let's just let's exit out of there. Go back, and then settings. Settings. Layout. Try that. I mean, one of the things, you know, you have to kind of just be willing to experiment until you get it the way you want it to be. But there we go. And I still have the bottom screen showing there, and we don't want that. So let's see here. And screen, large screen. Overlay options, show overlay, no. Get rid of that. Okay. There we go. That's much better. See? Now I got both. All right, so we got E, Nick. Good old Garfield cards. I can't play Garfield without playing as Garfield, you know? Hmm? Yeah. Probably need to enable something that I don't know how to enable. So let's, again, I guess the best part of this is you get to see it being fiddled with. Okay, A button. Sure, we'll make that be the A button since it was labeled as A. There's the B, X, Y. Select. Gotta map these individually apparently, so that's all right. D-pad access. Right here. D-pad button. Read left. Read right. That's good. Let's give that a try. Oh, forward, go. Um, that didn't work as I had planned. Let's try something else. All right, gamepad. I think this one. Let's try that. Now why is Garfield not moving? Oh yeah, he's in. Ah, there we go. Okay, now that I got that, let's restart. Now that I know what I'm doing. Go, Garfield, go. See, I wonder what their inspiration was here. I can't figure out what game they were modeling themselves after. Can you? Anybody ever played this on an actual 3DS? Oh, that'd be nice. Oh, that's probably my spring that I dropped earlier. At least I'm playing better than I was before. Now that I have everything mapped properly. No, I mean that's the thing, right? Is with this you have to be like a kid until you learn stuff. Just don't be afraid to press buttons. What's the worst that's going to happen? Victory! All right. All right, Ethan, thanks for jumping on. Hope you enjoyed a little Garfield action, me getting first place after figuring out how to map my buttons. Appreciate you jumping on. Anyone else on? It shows that there's at least one other person on. If you're on, let me know. Zombie U, Wii U. Okay, that's from Kapka Helberstam. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. People have butchered my name my entire life. Not Nick, not P Nick, but they have. So I completely understand, and I'm sorry. All right, so let's see. What do I have for Wii U? I don't have that game. I do apologize. Oh, let's see. And I can't remember which emulator gives us Wii U where we can use both screens. But I will add that to my handy dandy request list. As you can see, it is real. So, Kipka. Kipka requested Zombie U. U. All right, I have you down there. So whenever I get to next week's live stream with the AYANEO Pocket DS, I will gladly test that game out for us. Whether you join then live like you are now, or if you watch it later, I promise you, Zombies U on Wii U will be on that console. All right, single player. Now you can see there for Wii U it is still a bit driver jerkiness, which is funny that for the secret console it tends to work better than Wii U. But yeah, you can see all kinds of graphical glitches. No, okay, Sumo. All right, let's go back to Sumo. Back to settings, graphic settings, custom drivers. Let us see. Let's see if we can grab the next most recent driver. I think the drivers are on here. Be on on download. I think that one will work. 2. That's the thing, right? Is you can try different drivers, and I have a number of them, as you can see. Let's try this one. This is the most recent that I had access to. Let's try launching Assassin's Creed. The most recent isn't always the best. I remember when the original AC came out, the original Assassin's Creed came out, playing as Desmond and Altair was an awesome experience, parkouring around the ancient world. I really enjoyed it. If you're still there, Kipka, let me know. Did you play AC3, or if anyone's on, did you also play the original Assassin's Creed when it came out? Alright, let's see. No, still got some judderiness. So that's all we can do, is just try different drivers, because different drivers could react differently. So this was a hotfix one, so let's try the hotfix. By Mr. Purple. He usually has pretty good drivers. And if you don't know how to find the drivers, just Google, you know, Adreno drivers for Android handheld, Snapdragon handheld, that kind of thing. You'll be able to find it. Some emulators will actually find them for you and ask you which one you want to be downloaded. Just depends on the one you're using. And whoever is here, whether it is Kipka or somebody else, feel free to suggest a game or ask me a question. No, see, he's still all juddery. Not smooth. That tells you we're not going to be smooth. Now, one thing I do for a lot of these things, and I haven't really mentioned it, is I use Obtainium. Okay, so with Obtainium, you don't get anything from the get-go. But what you can do is get Obtainium and then Google Obtainium import JSON, and you're able to get a lot of these. For example, Citron and Eden and Azahar. And the benefit to this, okay, if you're not familiar, is the benefit to this is it acts like the Google Play Store. So it knows where these came from, because it's obviously you're providing them with that JSON. After you do that, then you obtain an import and you import that JSON. And what it does is whenever there's an update like this CMU here, CMU DS version, is it tells you when there's an update. You can set it to automatically update. But of course, I think because I have regular CMU, I think it's causing a conflict. The same thing for Melon DS, Nether SX for PS2, PPSSPP, RetroArch, RPCSX. All of those, it'll be checking to see if there's an update available. And if there is, then you can get an update for it. You're going to see conflict. So let us go here. Okay. Now let's try going back to our friend here, install. So that makes it where instead of having to go back to their GitHub or wherever they are currently stored, like RPCSX or other places that have just GitHub pages, for example, because they're open source, then it automatically, yes, install them. There we go. There's the new version. Okay, there we go. And same thing here. We have GameCube and we have Wii. And if I had WiiWare games as well. So Dolphin usually will work sometimes whenever other things won't work. There you go. You can see time splitter loading up really quickly. Okay, overlay controls. Okay. And get rid of them. And then let's see here. Internal resolution. I can't remember. Yeah, slide effects. So pretty smooth. I am just trying to think of here, and let me search. I'm just going to type here to ChatGPT here. What integer scale of GameCube games do I need for 1080? Okay, let's see here. So it says correct multiplier is 2x. All right, we'll go with 2x. Okay, and then settings. See, we're right at nearly 60. Okay, good. But I need to exit because it's not giving me access to the control settings. Controller settings, let's see here. Okay, now we'll go with, make that be the A. It just makes more logical sense to me. So X. And Z will make R2. I'm not familiar with that. Start control stick. Okay, so up, down, left, right, up. Sorry about that. I know this is not all that entirely exciting. Keypad up, down, left, right. Rumble. Yes. Alright, I guess no rumble, but that's it. That should fix it for us. So then let's try going back here to times here. And Sly FX, if you have a game or anything you'd like to request or console, I'll be happy to see what I can do for you. So you can see it's kind of blurry up there, but that's why I have this up here so you can see the 60 there. Yes, let's make that widescreen. Sure, we'll be done. I don't care about my name. Story, sure. 2401, sure. Since I've never played, we'll go easy. Don't crucify me for going easy. Played this on PlayStation, but not GC back in the day. I'm showing 59.98, so basically 16. So we set it up to 120. I don't know. Let's take a look. Can it handle it? Let's try turning down the performance mode. See if I can keep 60. Okay, so we're at 1080p here. Upscaling. Which way? Right. Let's see controls. Reverse look. I think that's what I want. Let's see. There we go. Let me know if you're watching. Are you a fan of inverted controls where up goes down and down goes up, or and left and right are opposites, or do you prefer everything to match what you're looking at? Left goes left, up goes up. Me, I like things to match what I'm looking at. Let's say this game looks pretty sharp at 1080p. I think that's good. So what I can do, go back to ESDE, other settings, alternate emulators, and NGS. See, it doesn't even recognize my NGS games. So, never mind. But if it did, then I can select alternate emulators. If you're not familiar with Pico 8 is a virtual machine. That means that they never actually created a console for it, but they did have hard specifications to build games. So I looked up those specifications. Some of them are making the virtual console less powerful than the original Nintendo, the NES, and some are more powerful than the NES, so it's kind of a compromise back and forth. But they wanted to really foster the creativity of people's minds, so that's why they went that route. Of course, this one doesn't want to load. So I'm not sure if anybody's still watching. The stream's been going for about 2 hours. No, retro watch. That's stuff to respond. If anybody's watching, at least say hi so I know you're there. And if not, this will be my last game played. If I get it to load. Whichever one I get to load. Let's pick something here. Wait a sec. I have a few Sega Saturn games or anything. I'm trying to remember what console do I have NBA Jam on? But right now my mind is drawing a blank. It's the problem if you have too many games. Hard to remember. this one is ghouls and ghosts. Years. There we go. Oh, no. Oh. Oh. Player one ready? So I guess that'll be it. Oh, no, I got somebody. Okay. Mauricio. How? So you can, there's a couple different ways you can do it, bud. You can use game native. That is one way to be able to play Steam games. I haven't set up my Steam account on here yet, but what you can do is you can download the games directly on here. Of course, you're not going to play Cyberpunk 2077 on here, but let me just, of course, just thinking about it, it's on my phone. Um, so you'd scan it on here, and then you'd get your list, and then you can try playing the games on here. There's also Game Hub by the external controller company GameStir that you can play the games. And then there's a Game Hub Lite where someone actually went in and removed some of the permissions that Game Hub asks that's unnecessary. Again, I don't believe it. That's open source, so neither is Game Hub. So what are they doing with what information they can get, such as your Steam credentials? It's unknown. I believe Game Native is open source though, so even though it's not as good as Game Hub, some people prefer that. But yeah, so you can natively That's why it's called game native, as in right there. If I can get it focused. There we go, game native. So you can, absolutely, they want you to download onto your drive though. So that's why having a device that has more memory, if you're going to have many Steam games, becomes really beneficial, because with the smaller games, systems are going to run out of console memory. So all of my games I have on the micro SD card that I can put on the micro SD card. And then that leaves space for Android games and also Steam games. I did convert my ROG Ally X into a Steam machine with Steam OS. So you can definitely do that as well. But for Android-based games, yeah, Game Hub Lite, and Game Native, which I was actually one of the first companies to do a written article on Game Native. That's awesome. I'm glad that. Which color did you get, Mauricio? Mauricio Cantu. When I taught English in Chile, one of my best friends was named Mauricio. May I ask where you're from? I'm from Canada. I now live in Thailand, if you've never watched one of my videos. Purple, there you go. I love the purple. I love being able to see the lights a bit better. I love the bits and bobs you can see where you can see the inside of the device. And when I got mine, it comes with a black piece of paper. And I couldn't figure out what the black piece of paper was for if you didn't see my previous video. It comes also with a guitar pick, so you can actually pop off the screen, put stickers on that black piece of paper, and then put them on the inside, so your sticker would shine through. Ah, Mexico. I had many good friends from Mexico too. My high school, way back when, had a partnership with La Escuela de Thomas Jefferson, and they had kids that would come up to our school every year, and we would send kids down to their school every year. And one of them, his name was Hernan. I was a host to him. Still remember Hernan. So his grandfather, I hate to say it because I'm drinking Pepsi, but his grandfather was high-level management for Coca-Cola Mexico. But yeah, so purple is a really cool color. I love it. And like I say, if you want to personalize it and put stickers on it, that's the best way, because it's not the stickers on the inside. It's not taking away the transparentness of this. Of course, if you want to see the screen ribbon still, then you have to do some arts and craft hour to make that work. But at least they give you the paper to make it work. See if I can find that piece of paper around here. Dominic was playing around here earlier, my son. I can't remember where it was put. Yeah, I can't remember. But like I say, I was wondering when I did my unboxing, I saw that in a bag, a black piece of paper and a guitar pick. But then I realized when I saw the cutout matching this cutout, it's part of the paper. And also, if you look here, you can see this. It was also cut out for this part. It's like, what in the world did they do? But then it dawned on me with that guitar pick. Personalize it. You can't do that with the other colors. Only do that with this one. So again, get some extra flexibility. So if you want to see the quick tour, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, you have R1, R2, or R1, R2, L, or I guess over here is R1, and L1, L2, that's RB and RT. And then of course, volume up and down. One thing that still gets me is volume down is over here and volume up is here. That confuses me because this is the side. So if I was moving this over here, just straight over, volume down would be on the top. So instinctively, I always want to push over here to turn up the volume, and I turn it down. Now this device, if you buy the accessory bundle, I did a video on that on Monday, does come with this lanyard, which is pretty sharp lanyard, and you can choose because both sides have a lanyard spot. So you just make it nice and small. And feed it through the hole if you can. And you're not trying to do it on camera in front of other people. Come on. Of course, mine doesn't want to go through. It's almost there, but it's not wanting to go through. Then you just feed it back through the loop, and then you have yourself a lanyard like a Wii U strap. And this does fully support it as well. So you can use that as well. I love the ergonomic controls. It felt okay without it, but once I got the grip, took it to the next level. Of course, I'm using my own official background for the wallpaper, Phoenix, and I got the 16 gigabyte version. For most people, there's not going to be a difference as of today. No. The thing is that I have seen it get above or right around 9 for some heavyweight titles. So that you want at least the Pro, at least the 12 gigabyte version. The benefit is, again, if you're using Game Native, Game Hub, or Game Hub Lite for Steam games, or you're wanting to play games like earlier, as per other users, I played Genshin Impact and Zenless Zone Zero. Those Android games normally want to be on internal storage. Well, this is like 60 gigabyte. This is like 30 gigabyte. So that's almost 100 gigabyte of storage right there. And then if you're talking some Steam games, 10, 15, 20 gigabytes per game, you're going to, the 512 is good. 1 terabyte's better. So just giving you that extra room for that. And like I say, it's possible that Game Hub and Game Native become more customized, more tailored to these types of devices, where you can play more powerful games, right? So if you can play a more powerful game because they've optimized it, if the optimization is there, then you want more RAM because it's being optimized, but they're going to eat more RAM to cache things. So again, that's why I went with the 16. Just gives me future-proof flexibility in case that does happen. Those are the two biggest players in being able to play Steam games, most like the bigger Steam games on here. So if you plan to play Steam or PC games, I'd say go with that. If you're sticking to Android games or you're planning to just play old school game consoles, PS3 and below, then you're fine with 12 gigabytes. Like I say, the only time I've seen it above the 8 gig and into just barely, it was like 9.1 gigabytes of RAM on the Thor Command Center button, the TCC, even though it's labeled as AYN, that's what they call it, is the TCC, the Thor Command button. The only time I have seen this RAM jump above 8 gigabytes of RAM, it was only at like 9.1, and that was on a PS3 game. So even if you're playing PS3, 12 gigabyte would be enough. I have not seen any good Xbox or Xbox line of emulators for some reason, and that's what blows my mind, honestly, is the Xbox, for example, even the original one, use basically off-the-shelf store parts. Like you could have built an original Xbox with parts that were available at that time. Since then they've gone more custom. They're not completely off-the-shelf parts anymore, kind of like PlayStation. But Windows and Linux have Xbox emulators. Those haven't really come to Android yet. We're just getting PS3, and the reason that they RPCSX, the PS3 emulator, changed their name from RPS3 to RPCSX is they plan to eventually roll out PS4 as well, because they think they can do it for both. So they changed it to RPCS X. Like I say, there's not anything on Android right now that can handle that. So can there be? Absolutely. And I would imagine 12 gigabytes of RAM would be enough for the most Xbox 360 games, and absolutely would be for an original Xbox games once that comes. But when is that coming? I haven't heard any tall tales of people working on emulators for Xbox and Xbox 360 or the for Android. So you might be waiting a while. Good questions though. Anything else you're curious about? I don't know if you were here, but one thing that I would recommend for you is Googling Obtainium. Oops, not that. Obtainium. See if I can't make that clear. Yeah, Obtainium. Okay. Google that, download that, and then Google Obtainium import JSON and download that. And if you want to play 3D, if you want to play dual screen consoles, then also Obtainium DS JSON, add those. And then after you download those, import Obtainium JSON and download those JSONs. And that will give you these emulators. The nice thing is Obtainium, what it's doing is it's acting like the Google Play Store. Okay, so it's checking to see if the creator of, for example, PPSP or of Melon DS, if they have released a new version of the app. If they have, because they're not in the Google Play Store, most of them, what it's going to do is then it'll tell you that there's a new version, ask you if you want to download it. You can also set it up to do auto downloads. But that's kind of the idea, is Obtainium gives you that access to have your, without having to go back to, for example, their GitHub and, oh, there's a new version. Delete the old version and install the new version, or just install it and tell it to overwrite the old version. This will do all that for you. So you want to get Obtainium on any Android device that you're doing that. And like I say, then it'll give you the option and it'll download all of these emulators for you too. So you can have Eden and Eden Nightly on your device at the same time. There's an update available. Too many requests. Sorry. I have Azahar, Dolphin MMJR2, Duck Station for PS1, for example, Melon DS for the DS, Nether SX, and like I say, it's checking. You can see here what version and the last update dates. Same here. So, and when you see this, then you know there's updates available. So see, it's telling me, oh, now there's a new one for Eden. Obviously, it's the nightly version. So get that. And I was just showing off Azahar earlier. So let's go with Garfield again, just so you can see. Once you have it set up, it automatically launches both screens. You don't have to finagle it with both ways. It does it. Demon Souls, I don't currently have that on my micro SD card, because PS3 and below I put on my micro SD card. But there we go. You can see I've loaded Garfield here. So we got Mauricio. Okay, and then we want to try Demon Souls. I believe I had it there, but yes. Okay, so you've been added to my sheet. Next week, I've already done the unboxing myself. Obviously, the video is not available yet, but for the AYANEO Pocket DS. So I'll test it on this and any other devices I get. Like I said, that's one of the reasons I tell everyone, including yourself, and you're very welcome, Marito. De nada. It's a pleasure. Es un placer. Give me the games you want to see so I can customize it and try to include as many people as possible on valid consoles. Obviously, if I'm doing a weaker console, like after I do the AYANEO that I just showed off, I have in a box sitting the new, my mind just completely went blank. Sorry, hold on, my mind is going blank. Mungme. The Mungme Air X. I won't be able to test PS3 games on the Mungme Air X because it's just not powerful enough. But for those consoles that it is powerful enough, absolutely, I will try PS3 games. But Mungme can do a lot of GameCube, a lot of PS2, so we'll test that. Obviously, that won't be next week or the week after because I'll be giving 2 weeks to the big AYANEO, since that cost me $630 US. For full transparency, if you look at the backlog of my videos, every device other than the TrimUI brick hammer, I purchased with my own money. The TrimUI brick hammer was provided by TrimUI, and I'm hoping, because this time last week, my subscription count was only about 250, and as you can see now I'm about 2,000. So I'm hoping companies like AYANEO and AYN and the others, Retroid, will agree to do partnerships with me, where they'll send me devices like the bigger YouTubers. Who knows? They might require more than 2,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. The more subscribers, the better. The more you watch my videos and give them thumbs up, the better, because I can assure you, TrimUI, even when they partnered with me and I only had 100 subs, they said, can you show us your analytics? What types of viewers are you getting? How many reactions are you getting? So all of that helps. How many comments are you getting? All of that helps those companies know if I am worth investing a review unit for. So trust me, every comment on this video will help, whether you're watching now in live and you're doing the live chat, or if afterwards, please leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, because all of that will help. So I can get these devices without having to spend a lot of money. Because again, this with the accessory kit, $500. This with some accessories, almost $700 US. And I live in Thailand. Thailand salaries are not the best. So needless to say, a lot's gone on a credit card that will take me months to pay off. I know it's the price to pay to grow my channel. I understand that, and I want to grow my channel. The whole idea of this channel, the reason it's called Phoenix, is adding P before a name, whether it's Nick or P Mauricio, whatever, in Thai. When you do that, the P signifies Big Brother. So, Big Brother Nick's Handhelds. Okay, so I want to be like that big brother that happens to have the luxury of having the handhelds, and I want to be able to provide you guys with the information. That's why I'm doing these live streams, so I can try out games that you guys are interested in. I'm gonna answer your questions live, and then I do the unboxing so you can experience the unboxing, whether it's the accessories like I did on Monday that included the AYN, sorry about the jiggles there, included the lanyard we spoke about and the pouch that I just happen to still have sitting here. And mind you, the pouch will fit the Pocket DS, even though the Pocket DS is bigger than the Thor. So when I went to church, I brought the carrying case that came with this, or came with the accessory bundle, and put the DS in this so people could see it at my church. So I spend all this money now for you guys to be able to know if this is something that you'd be interested in, whether it's for yourself Or maybe you're possibly a gift giver, especially with the holiday season coming up. And of course, anytime during the year round, could be an anniversary, could be a birthday coming up. So I want to make these videos every week for you guys on new handhelds, whether it's a brand new device or in my backlog, I still have unopened a RG40 XXP, which, if you're curious, the new Anbernic RGDS is using the same screen as this. So I want to be able to even get into my backlog in some older devices when I get a chance. Because maybe you found a great deal on that and you want to know if it's worth buying for your significant other or for your child. Because maybe you want to introduce them to video games. And you don't want to spend an arm and a leg, or if you spend an arm and a leg, you want to make sure it's good. So that's what I'm here for. Okay, sounds good. I appreciate you jumping on, Mauricio. And like I say, this will still be on my channel if you want to watch earlier into the stream. Happy to provide these streams so you guys can watch them later. Have a good day at work. It's 9:30 p.m. here in Thailand, so it's about time for bed. Thank you also for joining. I appreciate you. Everyone that joins, appreciate you, because I know you have a lot of options on YouTube. And I guess if no one else is there, I can't tell if someone else is here or if it's just Mauricio and I. It says there's 3 people, but I don't know if that's actually accurate because I can't see the names of people. Yeah, every Wednesday, same time, I'll be here, Mauricio. Okay. Yeah, it says 3 on my side, but maybe it's counting me. I have no idea. YouTube's very strange when it comes to live streams. But like I say, see you later. Hasta luego. So anyone else want to see a game, a console, ask any questions before I sign off for tonight? Or your morning, of course, my night, depending on where you are in the world. I'll be like an auctioneer. Anyone else? Going once. Going twice. Sold to nobody being here or saying hello. So if you are still here, thank you again for being here. And either way, I hope that you have a wonderful evening if you're on my side of the world, or if you're on my original side of the world in North America or Europe. Thank you for joining me this morning or early afternoon from your perspective. And yeah, until next time, this has been Keenan.